Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining Archangel Alts, trading with you live without a net. Okay, it's got to be said. And if your name is Annette, you can join us anyway. So, trading live without a net, we do not use a stop loss. We try not to huddle unless it's intentional, but so far, no. Yeah, no huddle. Try not to do so. So here we are. It is about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing some trading on 316. Hopefully I put that information in correctly. I'll check chat every few minutes or so. Felt like doing this here instead of just trading privately, even though I know I might still be on my own. Feeling kind of pumped about things. I like seeing even though, in the temporary it's actually a drain on the altcoins, I like seeing the changes that BTC is doing. We talked earlier, I don't want to be one of those obnoxious guys that says, I called it. I'm the one that said that it was gonna move somewhere. But as we were watching the volume go down, even while I was doing the lesson plans, the volume was going down, so I kind of kept mentioning it because that's what was going on. So we hit in the like 83 million range again, and that's when it popped. And in this case, it went up. So we broke out of, and it was actually kind of a gradual thing in the 3900s, but let's just kind of look at what the mirroring of that is. So we were all the way down here in the 36s, and that was, can you believe it? Can you believe it? That was just 216. So that was a month ago, and we saw this rise happen that took us up to almost exactly where we are now. And then we had this jump way up here to 41.98. That took us to 224, and then a drop. And this drop, interestingly enough, took us higher than we were over here. Okay, so we're making progress, even though, this feels extreme, this feels extreme. I think this may have been the lowest point right here, 3675. 3675 is still higher than 3600. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So we did this steady climb over here, and kind of all through this time, just to, reiterate here, I'm looking at all of this happening and thinking, okay, it's gotta make it through an average for a certain period of time before people start seriously buying in again. And I'm not talking about any manipulation. I'm talking about people that actually want to be trading, whether they're going USDT to BTC or BTC to USDT. Or I guess TUSD is the one that you would have to use for that. Whatever the direction, whatever the intention, if they're serious, they need to see what is that actual average going to be, because you don't want to go in at 3,900 and then have it drop down to 3,600 unless you're shorting, in which case you're not with us. You're not one of us, man. No, I understand everybody has their strategies. My philosophy is a little bit different on that. That doesn't mean that it dictates what you have to do. But so 3850 is what we've been looking for all this time, and no matter how high it goes, it would come back down to 3850. No matter how low it goes, it went up to 3850. So when we were hitting higher in the 3900s, started to concern me a little bit. Not because I don't want it to do that, I actually do. I encourage that. Good. We went up on Bitcoin. Just we want to wait until everybody has actually had their chance to buy in. There is a chance. There is a chance this is going down to 2800. Even though there are some people that I've actually run into now who are saying that, and they're showing where on the charts they give their lines that they're drawing around, triangles and lines, trend lines and things. Mine is just a gut thing, without thinking anything. And my gut must serve some kind of purpose. I think it might actually be more of like my brain is calculating a lot more than I'm capable of doing with counting on my fingers. So my brain has a little bit more of this intuition worked out than I do, perhaps. But, not to sound wishy-washy on that, but 2800 could be the bottom, but I'm feeling like 3850 is what it needs to sustain for a long time. So if it is going to keep going up, that's great. It needs to keep going up, but it's not going to stabilize from something this fast, okay? And let me make sure that I'm going to check this out real quick. Hold on. Hold on. That'll be all right. You'll be fine. Let's see. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I had the right title on the video. That's all. That's all. Because we are doing market analysis, and that might be the primary thing that actually takes place in this time, just depending. I actually want to get on some positions. So, yeah, if it goes shooting up, 4,000, 4050, 4100, 4200, it hasn't made it in the 4300s for a while. But if it starts shooting that range, I'm only going to be happy to see that if it happens over a couple of days, or even more than that. If it's as quick as it's been shooting up, it's just going to come back down, and we might see that average somewhere around the 3900s this time around if it's still on an uptrend. But that's okay. Every 2 weeks it's climbing a little bit more. The thing is, the pattern that Bitcoin climbs in has a direct impact on the alts that you're trading it against. So, we see things immediately start to take a volume dive. That's because they are electronically linked to Bitcoin. So even if, it's not what people's intentions are, there's a whole line. I mean, look at all the different orders that are sitting here. This is just as low as it goes here. If it let us keep scrolling, there would be more lower. But, there's these people waiting at just about every number you can think of to go in on the position. So if the calculations underneath this suddenly switch to where there's a volume drop or a scare, it starts that process where people start saying, oh no, look at the change, I better do something. And, the science of it is true, but the psychology of it is true as well. I'd much rather see Bitcoin do some, very short-term stable type things, do steady climbs to 50, steady climbs to 60, 75, steady downs in 2030, and then go up, $20, $30, then go up another 50, 60, 70. Do that ascent that can kind of bring the other coins with it. It's those knee-jerk moves that cause trouble and havoc. So we are working our way up against with fuel all the way again. We made it to 312 twice, 310 once. We just want it. Just here it is. We were so close. There's people looking for 320 and 21. We're up to 339, I believe, is our highest. But I'm just looking to see that 3.14 because it's our recent one. And it's not a hodl, and it's not a loss. But it's gone beyond that, couple of days that I'm comfortable with. If it hits 2 weeks, I will actually consider it a hodl. For our time since our launch in February, we are still at 100%. More than hundreds, more than 100 in more than one browser and client. More than one application. What am I trying to say? We're doing well, 100%. Except for one where Binance forced us to take a loss. And we made it up in, I think, a day and a half, if not a day. So that was pretty cool. That was good. It was good. So, right now, ABC, of all things, is at the top of the list. So that's quite a remarkable climb, actually. Yeah, it looks identical to Bitcoin. I mean, it could not be more identical. It is locked right in place with the coin. That is the bit. So for this 38978, we would need to see about 300 in movement. I want to see what that looks like. So 38928, 345. Let's see. Gonna need to take out the. You know what? I'm not even interested. Not even interested. Not going there. You can do your calculation. You know the rapid tables, the percentage increase calculator. Such a cool thing. You know what I'm talking about. You know that thing with the thing. So there's SV, Satoshi's True Vision for Bitcoin, or is it? Because what I see is Bitcoin Cash SV, but they're calling it Bitcoin SV. That's going to confuse some people that don't really know this stuff yet. I don't think that's right. I don't know about what you think, but I don't think that's right. Okay. BCD had quite a jump the other day. Was seriously thinking about whether to take a little bit of a loss since it may be a very long time before it's up there again. But I decided that it was not worth it because look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. I mean, it doesn't even register on the screen compared to what it was capable of doing in the early days of Binance. But it was not in lock with what was on CoinMarketCap. So here's, the way that I'm looking at that. It was worth this when it was in sync with other stuff, and then the other things dropped while it suspended withdrawals and deposits. So there you have that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're not holding any in this account. The other account eventually will catch up to what we're doing there. Just not sure. I think it's worth holding on to until something dramatic either does or does not happen. So we got Neo. We got RCN. Okay, so I'm going to set these up by volume and just take a look. So Ethereum is up 2,000. Nice. BNB's down 200. Not bad. Litecoin holding its position. It's kind of funny. It doesn't matter what it is that takes its place. Litecoin is always the next one. And XRP, same thing. There's usually something in between those two now. And I say usually, I mean that'll last a day, Tron hanging out in the 580s. E&J has been just really impressive, really interesting. Starting to show like it's comfortable in this range, but let's see. Wow, yeah, that's about as steady as I've seen it. So you can, I don't know if you can tell from this or not. This was just 225. Okay, so looking here. Looks like it could be coming back up to 44. See, 1857, I want to see what it does over the next minute or so here. Okay, so definitely moving slow, definitely dropping in volume. This moment of peace brought to you by not a thing. Nothing. Empty space, we're proud of it. took this opportunity to adjust the mic a bit, so that'll be better. Yep. Sounds exactly the same, but I'm just happier with the little bands holding things in place better. So, that was exciting for 40 minutes with Bitcoin doing its thing. And nothing. I got nothing. So Bitcoin is holding at 4019, 123 million. And I kind of have a feeling that it's not going to keep the pace. 123, 696, 93, 94, 96. Okay, so it's hovering. So I saw one person talking about something dealing with a verdict with the Mt. Gox stuff. And, you know, do you think that's why Bitcoin just spiked? I think it just spiked because it was time for it to do that after the volume drop. I don't think it was a fundamentals thing. I mean, if that happens to be the case, that's interesting. That's cool. ADA's actually got enough volume to move something if it's actually on the move. So we're going to do that thing we do when we want to find out whether it's on the move. Going to go in low and watch what the results are. So good about 7 or 8 seconds. We're around here. And I mean, Bitcoin is entering into, as we have learned together about Bollinger Bands, is entering into a really narrow Bollinger Band position, which tends to mean there's a breakout coming. So if you're not already in a position, that's usually a good time to be cautious. So I like to use caution to our advantage and ease my way up as I see what the reaction is to the order book. And I give a lot of information about what I'm doing for free. Eventually, we may not be doing these long day trade sessions for free because they're going to be something that we go much more in depth with really advanced trading information in our paid subscription. Yes, sirree. But we'll always have some day trading that is free for everybody too. So when you join our group for free, you will get the notices about when there's news that we're launching. We do market watch analysis. 1243 still? Yeah. Make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm doing here. Important to do. We'll share individual analysis on cryptocurrency spotlight, where we do a deeper dive on just individual coins and whatever's going on in the news with those at the time, and looking them on the market to see where they are, where they've been, where they're headed. We do all of those things as what I'm calling a deeper dive for the paid membership, where we continue with more details, more information, things that you know, it's basically separating casual from serious. You know, we're not trying to say that nobody's allowed to be serious about their trading if they don't have the money, but it is that kind of thing where this actually does deal with having money to invest. So, you know, if you're a hobbyist, if you're a casual trader, you know, we learned on very modest beginnings. You know, we started with virtually nothing and worked up to hundreds, and you know, added in as we grew. Learned all the pitfalls of trying to avoid the hodls, and you know, some of that was just like learning, you know, trying to do steady things like Bitcoin versus Ethereum, and then finding out that Ethereum does these tiny, you know, just under 0.2% moves, making it virtually impossible to day trade at a profit unless you're doing, you know, whale-like movements at just exactly the right time. So we actually found that it could take like 2 weeks for it to complete a 0.3 percent change. And that, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that Ethereum doesn't move, but it against Bitcoin, they almost move exactly the same amount. And then when Bitcoin leaves it behind, it doesn't move quite as much. So, you know, learned all those different types of things in the early days. But we were far from hobbyists. We were very serious about what we were doing. So if there was a channel like this where I could have learned that much about volume, MACD, Bollinger, Stock RSI, VWAP, I would have been thrilled. I would have been over the moon to have that kind of information. We probably would have saved, you know, a good 3 weeks worth of testing And my gosh, 3 weeks is like a lifetime right now. We're pushing extremely hard to get into that hockey stick, the fun part of the hockey stick where you can actually see something move. If you don't know what I'm talking about the exponential growth curve. One of my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things. When the Tron bites. Let's see. No, I'm not ready to do a Sound of Music crypto style. Thought I was there, wasn't there. Yep. It's true. Let's see if anything's happening in the browser. Probably not. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty late, I understand. But hey, wait a second. There's people watching. You think you're the only ones watching? I'm watching you. Well, no. You're the only ones watching. Oh, yeah. Okay. So testing ADA, even with 2,500 BTC 24-hour volume, is just really, really slow. And it's because Bitcoin is really, really slow. It is actually losing some of that volume. And it takes a while for it to do that shift from when it's in the 120s down to the 90s into the 80s. I would guess it would even take, until, 5 or 6 a.m. But we've been working so hard to get these lesson plans ready for you guys. And I felt the obligation to make sure in the show that we would have those together when I said they would be ready, so that they are ready on time. So all of the free ones are together, and all of the paid part 2s. They're, when you're a member, all that stuff that we add is automatically yours. You pay $99 reoccurring per month. That comes down to roughly about $3 a day for the price of not even a fancy cup of millennial coffee. You could serve yourself and serve others by serving yourself. By learning how to do this stuff and joining our community. Be a part of the answer. Be a part of the solution to the crypto revolution. Twitter hashtag crypto louder megaphone. We're trying to be thought leaders in this space, and in order to do so, you can't lead if nobody is following. And following in this case is a good thing if you're following the right thing. So we're here to guide you to be that thing that is the right thing for you to follow. Wow, is that a roundabout way to say? So, we need a bigger megaphone so you can help us to be a louder, bigger, more voice to lead the crypto revolution. So what does that look like? What does this revolution of which I speak, what does that look like? It's not just rhetoric. Here's my formula. What we're looking for is mass adoption. Imagine if the slower coins were the ones that were 2,000 or 3,000 BTC 24-hour volume. If it happens on Binance, it's going to be happening on others as well, on other exchanges as well. My goodness, this is looking exactly like the Bitcoin Bollinger Band that is about to burst. So what is it going to do? I mean, it could do this for an hour, but it looks like it's going to lose momentum. So is the Bollinger Band going to open up, or is it going to just break the bottom of a very narrow Bollinger Band and pop up? I think it's losing momentum. I think that it's going to go down. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe I should show you Bitcoin instead of looking at something that's mirroring what Bitcoin is doing. Let's do it that way. So if you're here, if you're watching, please say hi in the chat. I will check it out, and if you ask questions, I will respond by talking. It'll be really fun. We can keep trading unless you're not trading. So what does this revolution look like? The revolution looks like when you take 1 million people that have $100 or $500 or $1,000, and therefore you have 100 million or a billion or more money enter the marketplace. Guess who benefits? Everybody benefits. Binance gets 0.1% in fees when you trade that, and they get it when you buy, and they get 0.1% when you sell. And the exception to that is if you buy some of their BNB, their Binance coin, you tell Binance to use that to pay for fees. then you get a reduction in fees of 25%. So what was already low at 0.2 becomes 0.15. And that might not sound like a very big deal, but if you're going for, very fractional micro earnings, you might be going for something even faster than what we're currently trying to work on. We do have a side strategies for all sorts of different stuff, but yeah, I'm going to start clicking around. Imagine if the next $1 billion to enter the market was not another whale. Imagine if the next $1 billion to enter the market were, let's see, $1 billion is 1,000 million. So we don't have 1,000 people with $1 million, but do we have 1 million people with $1,000? Huh. Okay, well, if everybody only had 500, that's still 2 million people. Well, are there any people in India or in Cyprus or Greece or Venezuela or China or the free part of Korea? Are there any of these areas that have access? Okay. Are there any places other than them that there are 10 million, 20 million, 30 million people that have not heard of Bitcoin? And the answer I give you, my friend, is yes. Yes, there are. There's hundreds of millions of them. There are more than, I believe, 7 billion people in the world. 1 out of 7 is on Facebook. Facebook is going to be adding a coin. When that happens, some people are going to say, coins, crypto coins, somebody's talking about this compared to Bitcoin. What is BTC? What is Bitcoin? And so the process begins. Then the conversation is, should I use Facebook coin or should I use Bitcoin? And then everybody says, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been around for 10 years. Facebook is a scam. Da 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 da. Or I love Facebook. I like Farmville and Candy Crush. I like to nothing. Okay, I'm on there too. Everybody's on Facebook, except for the other 6 people that you don't know, right? So 1 in 7, I guess. Except if you break that down, I mean, how many of those are people's other 14 emails that they use? I have this one that's my personal one, and this one that's my business, and this one that's my hobby, and so I mean, it could actually be like 100 million people. Or if you put together all those people with fake accounts that drive up the price on Facebook ads. How many times? Well, okay, yeah, that's a whole different story. Anyway, crypto revolution. What does it look like? So Kroger is seriously considering whether they would start accepting payments in Bitcoin. They're saying no to Visa, yes to, well, maybe to Bitcoin. Kroger is not exactly the smallest place in the world. A lot of people love them for groceries. Okay. So Bakkt, B-A-K-K-T, Bakkt, is, backed by Starbucks, backed by Microsoft, backed by BCG. The ICE, I believe, is the Intercontinental Exchange. They own the New York Stock Exchange, and they want to go crypto. And in order to prove to the SEC that they can overcome the issue of volatility and manipulation, then they can have their Bakkt. And what they would be looking to do is to back all of your investments or trades with Bakkt through their own personal stock of Bitcoin, which means they're trying to stockpile Bitcoin, which means that they need that big of an investments in the hundreds of millions, I would imagine, in Bitcoin. Well, isn't it interesting that just recently one of the, I think the 4th largest whale owner of Bitcoin ever, anywhere, ever, has been separating out their, 113,000 Bitcoins into 1,000 Bitcoin accounts, or 10,000 Bitcoin accounts, into smaller amounts of accounts, but very large amounts. So if we don't see that dump onto the exchange very soon, and if it dumps anywhere, it's going to affect the price of Bitcoin elsewhere. So it doesn't have to be your exchange, whether you're on BitMEX, BitREX, Bitfinex, BitBitBit, or whether you're with the smartest people of all on Binance, with the very best of coins to trade against. Let's hope that they remain that way. In fact, we'll see what happens with the future of crypto. it would be interesting, if it's not in the hands of people that are just looking to pump it up. It could be a network that has some nefarious interests, but it could also be, the way that backed network of investors are getting into the game. If that's the case, do we really want the reason that huge mass adoption happens to be because of Microsoft and Starbucks? Not exactly the pillars of decentralization, not exactly the pillars of democratization. And I mean, I'm not, bashing American corporations. They know how to earn a living. But I think that everybody would feel a little bit more comfortable with a little less of a sense of the need for totalitarian control and power over things, right? So, and I try not to get into things, with too much rhetoric. I mean, this is not just using lofty words to try to make big things sound bigger. This really is a people's movement. This really is a revolution that needs to happen. There is nothing wrong with a movement with an aim to help build wealth. Okay, in the Bible, we are told not that money is the root of all evil, as many people have quoted, but the lesson there is actually the wording that is used. The close representation is that the love of money is at the root of all evil. The word all, though, tends to mean that it covers every category, not that every single thing that has ever happened has been because somebody loved money. Meaning that basically the best way to say it is lusting after or chasing after money as if you have love for it or lust for it, is responsible for every kind of evil there is. Doesn't mean that, it's like saying is at the root of all sorts of evil or all categories of evil. So why do I make that point? Well, you hear people talk about FUD and FOMO in this sector of the world a lot. FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. FOMO, fear of missing out. They are the dual components of fear and greed. I'm scared I'm going to lose. I'm scared I'm going to miss out. I got to get in because I want this. I got to have it. I got to get out because I'm scared I'm going to lose it. Those are some of the most prime base reasons that people do the things that they're doing. And for me, I just wanted to take a drink, so thank you for allowing me to mute for a second. So I had some water. What are you doing exactly? Yeah, I know. So this crypto revolution of which I speak, I talk about it as a true believer because I am a true believer. First and foremost, I'm looking at taking advantage of the time that's in front of us. We have an opportunity that is not likely to repeat itself. Repeat itself. Repeat itself. If you think of what the gold rush was and the scarcity of that model, and people were willing to uproot their lives and move to where the gold was in their hills. There's never been anything as an asset class of any sort that has been this closely compared to gold. So the fact that it has that built-in scarcity, but even more so it's important that you don't have to wonder where it is. Yep, you can go and buy it right now. But check this out. There's only 21 billion Bitcoins there's ever going to be. Now, it's true some other currency could outgrow, outlast, surpass Bitcoin at some point. There surely have been some people making accusations that the central team at Bitcoin is giving reason for pause, giving people some concerns. But it sounds to me like it might be scaling fairly decently okay. I think that the truth of the matter is that there are some actual technical issues that are not being discussed. I think that that is a fair statement. I think it's a fair assessment. The thing is that even if the wheels continue to turn at the current value, it can handle going up safely $50 over $20 a day. Meaning, as long as it's going up some. What it can't handle is an extreme over-the-top bottleneck. But what those incredibly intelligent different teams are testing is at the very foundation of that whole structure. If they can change, the chunk size, thing coming out of theory is the correct way to handle things. There's such a huge difference of opinion about the right way to handle the improving of the scaling of the blockchain networking that there have literally been splits that have cost the market billions of dollars. And honestly, that's okay. I would rather see the projects try to succeed in their own directions that they truly believe in than for there to be, some backstabbing that goes on later on. Human nature is much more dangerous to the model than the actual model itself at this point. Human nature is quite a thing to battle. So we are steadily going down. The Bollinger Band is opening up slightly on Bitcoin because it is losing volume, because it is going down in volume. So I called it. I called it. Well, I mean, anybody that knows what they're supposed to be looking for would have called this. So, but yeah, I mean, so it was coming in through here. It was getting very narrow. Now it is dipping through here. It's hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band, so it's getting a little bit of a bounce, but the volume is going to be the true tell. This yellow line here is our VWAP, and it's been coming down here. They have now kissed and made up, so it's come to the VWAP. It's not really averaging out yet. So here we go. Is the volume picking up? Yeah, I mean, it's okay. There we go. It's not clearing huge stuff, but it's showing that it's still in the game. 4, 4, 4. Awesome power, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so do not see anything moving quick enough to legitimize actually going in on a position. If there's something in the very low value stuff, let's see, just like the lowest volume. NAV is down there, TNB. Things that I would expect to see down here at this time. Oh, we're just getting so close. Okay, so I just put this one position in and it just started wandering away from it. I'm a little bit annoyed with that. It was, I think it was at 680. Let's see. It's really funny. 687, and yeah, I got a little bit tricked, but it came back within 682 to my 685. Yeah, it's going to sit there a while, but we actually have older positions in our AQ. We hold nothing back. These are some of our huddles. So I ain't proud of it, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This goes back to the hard fork. This was the Bitcoin crash cash. Cash. Yep, I like doing that. It's true. Okay, so man, I'm just being silly tonight. Let's see. We could do this in 3 points about. Let's see. Yeah, it's just too low. Sometimes there's this little spike that happens. So we got about 150 that this. Wow, look how near that is. That's pretty impressive. Man, it's a shame that it needs to move a full 5 because I don't think Bitcoin's got it in it to help things move along. Lind? No, too much digity. OST? Nope. DNT? Still got a ways to go there. Man, it was getting close too. Fuel has got to climb up that hill again. Man, why do you guys do this to us? Why you gotta do that, huh? Wabi, GTO. Look how narrow that is. It's crazy. We've actually seen them come to the middle and flatline before. It's pretty crazy. Doesn't stay there for long though. Okay. Okay. Two five three four. So 254454. Yeah, about 25, 45 or 50, 25, 45, 50. That would be about where it came up from. That is actually, I mean, it doesn't look like much at all, but yeah, Bitcoin is losing a little bit too much to go in on that. Something that's contrary to what it's doing is what it would take at this point. And there may not be anything fit. Would have to do 58, about 59. Nope, that's too far. It's not going to do it. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be approved. ONT, I still remember the day. Okay, so this is the one that's on the move. Check you out. So we have just discovered you, and I really should have my other computer in here run the scanner for the signals. Let us know when things are popping, when they're not. So we're just going to, well, I mean, this is probably going to keep doing this. Oh, that would be so cool if this was the time that it actually cleared out one of our olders. Clearing to the oldies. I mean, 2700 is a big deal for ONT. Ontology coin. 2622. 2633. And I'm going to space out my patience by checking and seeing if anybody do it. Check this out over here. We go over the volume, value, and likely trends daily. Now, I did, mention this, just kind of looking at our market analysis side of things. And if there's 3 of you watching, if you want to join in, say something, that'd be cool. This is our Twitter. This is our Facebook. These are just tags for if you click them, it'll search. And we're the only ones, as far as I know of, using Crypto Louder Megaphone. So I just link that to everything. People can click it and see everything that we're talking about and doing. And these are just things to help people that are searching for things that we deal with. Yep. So every single time we're doing a video, I'm trying to remember to keep the links that are important for you to have access to. So that's that. It's true. Girl, you know it's true. So we broke 27. Let's see, it did it back here somewhere. 27350. Over here it'll look like 2735. So that was 313. So just over 2 days. So as we look at longer periods of time, it has been at 2738. It's been coming up lately, folks. That long valley for ONT may start to be a thing of the past. It's really exciting when you think some of these are starting to climb that last 60% drop that had happened. Some of them actually have reached higher than where they began. That closed the entire valley. I did a video yesterday that included some of that. So here's August, okay. It's almost impossible to see where it was. Here's the Bitcoin cash crash. 2633, so I'm still well below there. So yeah, you can see we would have been somewhere around here. Somewhere around it. Well, okay. So anyway, you can see it's been as low as in the 1800s, 18,000s. But my goodness, look at how high it's been before. So I would say if you mark this part off and look at this, this is really where the scare began. But I would say, yeah, 2800 is I would like to see this be able to get to 2,800 over the next day or two. If it's actually on that trend, I'd like to see it be able to do that. 2644. Okay. Yeah, more than anything, I'm excited to see something that is moving. I like to see the activity. So actually, let's find out if anything else is moving. I'm going to leave this so I can get to the positions if I need to. Anybody else awake here? US might be on the move, possibly. So it's coming down off of that peak, 26.7, and it had been down here at 2,500s. So we don't want to just get in the line of fire there if it's not going to maintain. Waves is getting to that point where one should buy an entry point into it, and I just don't want to be a lesson in irony. So I really want to wait until it's the right time. Wow, look at that. Must be how it responded to Bitcoin earlier. So Bitcoin is still losing ground there. It's 4,011. ENJ has really become an interesting coin to trade with. 2680, 2679. Yo, 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 coin, what's up in the house? Yeah, I'm looking for anything that can stir something up here. DLT's at the top of the list right now. That's interesting. So it's on the move. Okay. Okay. Alright. BTG. Okay. What you doing, Ethereum? Okay. Slight over-exaggeration of what Bitcoin's currently doing. XLM. Not quite what we need to see. Okay, so we did see this spike. I remember seeing that, 1192, 1202, 1205. It did literally just within the range of what we would need to see it do. This stuff is moving just a little bit too slow. So, what about go? Yo. Okay. Dent. Probably too small, too slow, yeah. Nibble. Okay. Yeah, it's just such weak movement. I much prefer to see stronger indications that it's going to do what I would hope for it to do, because not that I don't think that it couldn't do the position, but that Bitcoin is weakening so easily that I'm concerned that in the process of actually guessing something right, that it starts to get pulled in a different direction with Bitcoin. So it's not worth taking a risk that I can't follow through with. And every time I say, you know what, I'm going to go forward anyway, guess what? We end up having to wait longer than I'm willing to wait. I'd rather have what we've already earned and wait for the right time to move forward than to push moving forward and then have to wait longer than if I had just waited. So, not that I'm ever okay with waiting, but until we get to a point where we're pushing with, tens of Bitcoins, and those positions have a little bit more of an impact where we place them. Yeah, I've got to allow the market to do a little bit of what it's going to do. I hate saying it that way, but sometimes it's going to do what it's going to do. It is what it is. So this trend has been nice, and I can see there, that's been good. This concerns me a little bit. And I mean, it's just because of what Bitcoin's doing right now, but we've made it a long way to get up from the 200s. And we're so close to where we could clear some of that stuff out. It'd be really nice. REQ. On. Get along, little doggy. Mana has been interesting. I need to include that in these searches a little bit more. Because, I mean, you can see that's, that's an interesting amount of movement, even with it being pretty low in volume. So, like 12, we would want to see it up there. Yeah, not quite enough, though. Not quite enough. ADA? It's been doing this range for a while. I mean, it went up over here, but it's been doing this range ever since. 1272 is about where we would want to see it. I mean, that's the entire height of what it did. Did exactly 1%. Your ears must be burning. We were just talking about you. Huh. Over the long haul, it kind of looks like it might be getting ready for a pretty big up. Mark that in your memories, folks. I think ADA is going to have a good up. It's not going to happen right now, but I think that it's going to happen. I don't think it actually did that. That'd be funny if it just went 191, 193, boom. Just cut through 3 Bitcoin just to make you happy. Okay. Interesting. Doc is actually moving enough to do a little bit of a something. But still 240 BTC. I mean, not until I see that it's really going to move. Still think that quite makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't like stopping where we are. I like to always be able to get into something when we're working on this stuff. But I just can't force position that's not there. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this quits for now. I hope that you learned something from the market analysis. Even though this is the end to our day trading live stream, don't let this be an end to your crypto dreams. Be a part of the crypto revolution. Come join us. Subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, comment. Come join us, Archangel Alts. Follow the link. Choose your path. Shall you go free? Shall you go ahead and subscribe? You get 3 days for free if you do subscribe. So, obviously it doesn't hurt to do so. Yep. All right, guys. So join us. God bless you. And for now, Archangel Alts out.